Born in 1977 to the late Mrs. Catherine and Stephen Kisack, Keith Kisack would come up in the Ninth Ward of New Orleans, Louisiana, the Desire Project to be exact. Just like many other troubled youth coming up in the impoverished environments of New Orleans, Keith, aka Kisack, would turn to the streets. In early June of 2000, dirty New Orleans police officer Tyrone Martin, aka Martin, would hack up Kisack, Stephen Taylor, and Corey Harrison without reasonable cause. Martin's excuse would be that Keith wasn't wearing his seatbelt. Before Martin could hit the sirens, Kisack would bust a left into the gas station, hopping out of the whip, where he would head inside the store portion of the gas station. Before Kisack could make it into the store, Martin would hack him up, demanding that he go back to the car. After learning that Kisack was driving without the license, Martin would arrest him on that charge. Without probable cause or a warrant, Martin would then search the car and recover 4 guns. The law states that an officer must have probable cause to search a vehicle or suspect without a warrant. Driving in a high crime area and not wearing a seatbelt is not probable cause to search an individual or a vehicle. This would be one of the many run-ins that Kisack would have with the NOPD. As years would pass, Kisack would eventually end up with convictions for gun charges, aggravated battery, robbery, kidnapping, illegal possession of a stolen vehicle, and resisting an officer. While doing time upstate, Kisack would link up with Stephen Anthony Joseph, aka Hot Boy Dooney. Both were highly respected in the streets and bout that trigger play. Killers respect killers. Around or about late 2008, early 2009, Kisack would meet and start dating Nadine Antoine. This would turn out to be your typical boy meets girl relationship. Nadine would be more invested in Kisack than he was in her. Kisack, being from the streets, was doing his thing, not wanting to be tied down in a committed relationship. Nadine's family would not like this, nor would they be happy with the idea that Kisack was a known gangster from the streets. They would hate the relationship and despise Keith. More in particular, Nadine's cousins, juvenile court judge at the time, Tracy Flemings. We'll get back to Judge Fleming shortly. That same year, on July 2nd, Brandon Morgan, 26, of New Orleans, will be shot dead on the second floor balcony in the 6300 block of Haynes Boulevard at the Seabrook apartment complex in the New Orleans East.
1 block, 2 deadly shootings, 15 hours apart. That's the reality in one New Orleans East neighborhood, and it is leaving neighbors fuming. WDSU's Harrison Golden is live in New Orleans East, where police are still investigating what happened. Harrison?
Sulla, this afternoon's shooting left 1 person dead. Last night's shooting left 2. And it's leaving a lot of people in this part of New Orleans East losing count of all the crime they're encountering here.
We all come out and there's a young man, bloodied, a bloodied body. Who wants to be awakened to that?
Stephanie Johnson-Sever barely slept Tuesday night. Gunshots woke her up again.
The quality of life has just dwindled down to almost Sodom and Gomorrah. We hear gunshots every night.
She lives just down the street from where 2 men were shot and killed just before 11 p.m. Tuesday. And after 1 p.m. Wednesday, another deadly shooting on the same block.
To see these young people just constantly killing each other, arguing, just the violence that's going on, not only in New Orleans East, all around the city of New Orleans. We as New Orleanians, we need to take our city back.
She says that means taking action.
Somebody needs to pay. If they don't give a damn about who they rent to, if they don't give a damn about how their units look, why should we give a damn about them?
The complex's property manager was at the scene of Wednesday afternoon's shooting. He declined comment on the site's mounting frustrations, but neighbors close enough to hear those shootings say they're not giving up.
It's something that needs to be addressed by all city agencies, honestly. They know it's happening. We have reported it. I know I have reported it. But what's being done?
With no evidence besides being labeled as guilty by association, Kisack will later be pinned by the NOPD for the crime. Keith would obviously plead not guilty on the charge. Prosecutors, not being able to get the charges to stick, would reset Kisack's court date multiple times. Waiting on his court date and looking to be released due to the lack of evidence, Kisack would do his jokes and continue his relationship while incarcerated up until 2013. During that time, Nadine would joke Kisack and visit him while he was locked up. In a shocking turn of events, Judge Fleming will win the seat in the adult courts, where she will preside over Kisack's case. Ray Charles conceded that this was clearly a conflict of interest that would lead to an undeniable case of nepotism. In 2014, Kisack, still not having been to court for the murder and gun charges, would be convicted for an entirely different charge that had nothing to do with his initial case.
The New Orleans Police Department is investigating a homicide in the Desire neighborhood. Around 8 a.m., police discovered a man's burnt body near the intersection of Florida Avenue and Alvar Street. Police say the victim was pronounced dead at the scene. Anyone with information is asked to call Crime Stoppers. That number 822-1111.
Kisack, who had been in Angola since his 2014 sentencing, will be accused of threatening Judge Fleming from behind bars. In a docket entry, the judge will recuse herself from the case, alleging the court received repeated threats and false accusations by Kisack and associates in an effort to intimidate her, going on to say that she had been the target of a letter to her home address, phone calls to the court requesting information about her, as well as Kisack tagging her in Facebook posts. The judge refused to elaborate on the nature of the threats. However, a publicly available Facebook page and a blog site contain accusations of clear bias on her part, as well as promises to be her at the polls were active, but neither would pose threats to her physical safety. Defense attorney Phillips, who was representing Kisack on his murder case, stated he did not know anything about the alleged threats. Rochelle Kisack, the cousin of Keith Kisack, was infuriated by the accusation, stating that Keith never threatened Judge Fleming. She would further go on to say that the family never threatened her at all. All they did was start a campaign highlighting the injustices in Kisack's case. The Facebook page that bears Kisack's name and picture was confirmed to have been run and managed by Keith's family. In other words, Kisack doesn't have a Facebook page, nor does he post on one.
Hello, y'all. Welcome to Bamm Bamm Raw TV. On Bamm Bamm, aka the 411 Giant. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit that bell icon so you know my next video coming out. And on this episode, I'm finna come back and do a revisit to Cat Kisack, the body snatcher. Excuse me. Cat Kisack, the body snatcher. Who he was and who he was then, what he did, whatever people accuse him of that he didn't do. He was who he was. I was locked up with Cat. I talked to Cat on the phone about 4 days ago. I sent Cat $30. I've been sending Cat money every time he called me. Why? Because I was taught to look out for my people, my homeboys. I don't have the money that I used to have because I'm not in the game that I was in. I don't make no money from this podcast. I'm just doing a therapy for my mind. I make enough just to buy some more equipment. But I do not understand why somebody in my brotherhood, the Crescent City, has not put together money to get Cat out. Cat Kisack, the body snatcher, around me, has been one of the most loyal dudes I ever met. I stopped Cat from getting in a lot of stuff. I stopped him. I made sure Cat went home. Cat, I had 2 people. I was locked up for almost 28 years. I had 80 people maybe going home, said they were going to send me something. I had 2 people out of them 80 people that ever send me something. Cat Kisack sent me $100 2 times and some magazines. My homeboy Trey One, my little brother, sent me some magazines and a few dollars. Cat is a man of his word. And I don't understand why my brothers nobody down there has not got together the money to get him out. Because that's on that side of our family. We all family now. The whole Port City is what it's about. the port city, the apologize, the whole Louisiana is what it's about. And my thing is, Cat, I think he's deserved a little bit more. I mean, he listened to the right people. And when he called me, I didn't have my recorder and I didn't have that. I would have got with him. I let him hear y'all talk to somebody. But when you take somebody like that and they get the opportunity to keep him in jail with a bond, whether y'all go through bond reduction or not, that's a strike against us. If we have no reason to hold him and no reason for the excessive bond, he should be out. Now, I ain't saying Kisack, body snatcher. He's not. I'm not saying he's an angel, but that got nothing to do with his bond. It's supposed to be a fair and prejudice situation. You make the bond according to the situation, and the bond according to that situation don't match up. Y'all get him a lawyer. Do something, man. I'm financially incapacitated at the present moment. If I had the money, I'd get it for him. Cat called me and I know how it's hard, man. The dude is solid. Y'all don't understand what y'all got. Y'all. Anyway, I told her. Me and OG Giggity talked about it. As a matter of fact, I got a video of me talking to OG Giggity about it. Right after I had got to talking to Cat, I may have a video of Cat. If I do, I'll post it. But he called me first. I was laying there getting an eye operation. But he called me and made me aware that all charges had been dropped and he had a bond. Back in the days, I could have burned him out. But since I'm not into that foolishness no more. But again, Cat Kisack, the body snatcher. If people are not afraid of him, if you're afraid of him and you got the money, that explains why you're not getting out. I ain't never been afraid of nobody. I tell you what, go back to the bottom, take you back to the bottom aspect. People, those who killed our homeboys, we beat their family up there trying to bond them out. We want to bond them out. Anybody gonna press no charge against them? We want to bond them out. Their family will bond them out and get them out of town. Nah, I believe in bonding. I definitely am a bondsman in the heart. And so he should not be in there. He ain't gonna beg nobody and kiss nobody behind him. He gonna go through the people he can. So my thing is, body snatcher, Cat Kisack, come on, put him on video. Not video, but I'm put him audio next time. And if he got a family, whoever will get together and try to help him make a bond, man, they put the bond on him and they put it on him that high just so that y'all wouldn't get him out. Just so, because they know what they were doing. But you look at Lil Diesel and look at the OG Giggity. I gotta make a change, make a difference, man. For Louisiana, y'all done kept the murder rate, y'all done kept the confusion rate. So start another trend. Show that y'all stick together for real. Y'all stick together in jail now. So I'm just saying, Cat Kisack, man, we need to push to get him out. Goddamn it, I sell turkey legs. I could cook. I sell whatever. Don't let that man be in there suffering, man, over the folks being angry of him. All the things they thought he did, they couldn't get him for. It'll be you next time. I'm telling y'all, we got the bond. We need to bond him out. I'll come down there to New Orleans and sell turkey legs. Give him to bond him out. We take care of home, man. Yeah, I expect that. It's kind of personal situation, so I don't like talking about it. He don't want me to talk about it. They ain't the way he moved. You know what I'm saying? But we got to get him. There's no way he should still be laying in there. If I had the money on God, he'd already be out. So all I ask y'all to do is continue to pray for him. And I'm gonna ask you this. Continue hit my podcast, like, subscribe, hit the bell icon. I'll tell you, Cat, the body snatcher that y'all know ain't that dude no more. He's not trying to give it that. He's trying to get out here and live a decent life. You got no problem with nobody. And I'm gonna get a recording of that. Trust me on that. He ain't tripping. He just want his freedom. Do you know how that feel? To put y'all fears aside, put y'all animosities aside, say that's one of y'all homeboys. That's one of our homeboys. The boot from the tip to the top. All right, much love. We're gonna hit the like button, hit the bell icon, subscribe. You gotta subscribe. All right, then. Peace. This is OG Bamm Bamm, the 411 Giant, and Bamm Bamm Raw TV. And I'm here to talk to you. Me and you, we talking personal, and we talking about my man, the body snatcher, Cat Kisack. Me and Cat Kisack, they have alleged the body snatcher Cat to have over 19 bodies. They were saying that he was easing in and out the projects, easing in on people, getting a drop on them, taking them away, and getting what he needed from them. And so now, this thing about this body snatcher, as y'all know him, or as society know him, with his alleged 19 bodies or whatever, this a different side to him that I know. I mean, personally, it's always strength, but it's a lot of loyalty to it. It's a lot of loyalty. He was a solid little young homie, and right now, I wish him the best here in Angola. Right now, got a life sentence. And he's fighting it to get back out. He called me on the telephone on the regular and everything. If you look him up, he's going to be Kisack, the body snatcher. And if you look at him, it don't look like much to him because he laid back, he quiet. You know, you're going to see the tattoo on his face, but he's laid back and he quiet. And he got a movement that some people, they confused about it. They don't know if the movements that he got, and they looking at all these bodies that he got, or allegedly got, but the movements of him, you would look at him and you would say, man, little light-skinned or quiet, always kind of peeping, analyzing situation type dude, you could so easily mistake him for a coward. You can mistake his peeping and going on for fear. And that'll be a big mistake. It could be a deadly mistake. Because Kisack Cat, he a whole lot of things, but he ain't no coward. But he laid back, as me and OG Giggity was talking about. Most men who are about their business is not loud. I'm not saying some can't be loud, but most are not loud, and most are not putting themselves out there presumption because they do what they do and they through with it. There's nothing to brag about. You either get the money and get on, but it's nothing to brag about. We was locked up in Supermax Marion, the lockdown Marion. We was actually locked up down there in Marion because I was down there for stabbing a guy in the face over 13 times. And he was there for punishing his celly. He had stabbed his celly up pretty bad. And so they sent him down. That's what USP Marion was like, the Supermax before Supermax ADX was built. And it was for the worst of the worst, you know. It was for the worst of the worst in the federal system, which is supposed to carry the worst. Because we was all in USPs, most of us, people like me and Cat. When I met Kisack, people had already told him about me, as OG Giggity said. I was all over the system. People had heard about me. I had been putting in work since the day that I come into the system because of my short stature, and because of my anger for the time and stuff that had happened with me. So Cat comes into the unit. He come over in the unit. When he come into the unit in Supermax, he tell you, he looking at me. He's a Muslim, and he was staying away, kind of looking at me out the door, peeping and looking at me and going on. But I had heard enough about him to know that he wasn't no coward. So he was peeping, going. So I just, boom, I go bum rush the door. I go to the door. Hey, what's going on, homie? Like that there. So he's he hollered back at me going on. I said, look here. I said, you're a Muslim, you're on Muslim time, or you're on Louisiana time. I see the way it go. I respect both of them there because I I got a lot of Islamic brothers. I got brothers from everywhere, man, you know, so I'm not no dude who are stereotype going on. I said, but what you need me? He said, no, I'm all right. I said, no, what you need, man? Let me make sure that you right on everything, because you my homeboy at the end of the day, no matter what. Like that there. I said, I don't know what you done heard about me or whatever, but I fool with everybody from the tip to the top of the boot. I said, and I fool with other men, real men from other cars. So me and him got to kicking it. We got going back and forth and everything. We naming some of the steppers that I've been around out of New Orleans going on. So he was getting more comfortable and everything. But the whole time, as I say again, he's very deceptive because he's so quiet and soft-spoken. He's quiet and soft-spoken, and he's always looking, and you wondering why he look like that. But Cat, there's a difference between being a coward and being paranoid, or being observant. And Cat is not a coward. And some people think he's paranoid. Me, I think he's observant. When you've been allegedly accused of killing that many people or doing that many to people, you got to always be aware of your surrounding or anybody who may want to seek revenge for their homeboy. So Cat he would observe people, and in his observation, as we went on and got closer with each other, Cat is over there in his mind is figuring out, okay, do I got to kill this dude? How this dude moving? Am I gonna have to do this dude? Because if he gonna have to do that dude, he hadn't showed me that he had no problem with that. I've never had an incident while we was down in Maryland that I come at him and he wasn't ready to get up and let's go. I had to talk him. No, you sit down. I got this him. But point is, he's very observant. When he looking at a dude, he checking out. He listening to his slang. He listening to his language. He listening to the way he move. You know what I'm saying? Because he's trying to see what part of his project from. More than likely, he's very aware of his homeboys that some that he may have beef with in the past. So he's always observing when somebody come on there and if they say water out their mouth, that his antenna gonna go up. His antenna going up, he start looking and he start analyzing. Then that's why he gonna be doing. Then he gonna start doing his homework on it. What penitentiary dude said? What's going on with dude? What? Okay, well, who he was with? Who was around? Who was going on like that? And I had a couple of homeboys that came through the door that he got real tight with. But the man is he's like an anomaly. The man is you just can't. He's smart. He's always thinking. He always got a scheme. He always got a scheme. He always about making money, and he got a scheme. And the thing about it, what I say about number one, his grin. I'll tell a story with his grin. He with his grin and with his heart. DC had got into it with the Aaron brothers about a situation with one of their homeboys doing some gambling, and the guy said asked for his money a little bit too forceful, and they wasn't going for that. Some of the men like Teflon Sean and Tone them, Tough Slim them, they wasn't going for that. They play straight, but you ain't gonna run over them in their form or fashion. You know what I'm saying? And so shout out to Teflon Sean, because he's another little big man. He ain't much taller than me, probably an inch. I give him that. But so we had the situation. So when the situation come down now, they done woke everybody up and prepared everybody in case, because this thing could get big. And so now they let me know what's going on like that there. So I tell my homeboy Kisack the body snatcher, I tell him, I said, listen, man, you too short. You too short to go down in this here. I got this here. And he like, no, big home, I'm going. I said, man, you can't, man, because you're too short to go home. I need you to go home and everything, man. I said, I don't get no credit for my homeboys I keep in jail. I get my points for the one I sent home. And so you going home. I said, trust me, I'm going to go to my DC men's and I'm going to let them know that you're not going, because I'm not going to let you go, but I'm going to let them know. I'm going to give them my word that I'm going to get one for me and I'm going to stay at one for you. And that's a bet. And so I sit him down and everything, and he listened to me. And we went out there, thank God that, at that time, the guys retracted and they bagged up and they retracted and left it alone because the men they were playing with don't do no playing. So we stepped back and we got all that taken care of and going on. And so the next thing that we had dealing with sending him home was that he was just short to the door, and his co-defendant had just got out. His co-defendant just got out, and when his co-defendant just got out, he was coming down the steps of the halfway house and he was gunned down. So now that raised some antennas up in Cat brain. So he automatically went into work and going on to make sure that he transferred and get his paperwork and everything transferred to another state. And he got his paperwork and everything through the council transferred. Where he had people to set up the place for him. He had a couple of friends. They set up the spot for him. They got him a job down there. Everything they did everything. The man is loyal. He loyal, and the people that he fooled with 100%. So they got him all situated, and me and I think his mama was the only one that knew where he was going. You know what I'm saying? I didn't divulge that, and I know she wasn't going to divulge that. So he got. When he got out, he went to that place, and the whole thing he was breaking down to it. He wanted to analyze what happened, how it happened, what effect that it has on how he moved and everything like that. So he wanted to step back from another state and look at it, New Orleans, look at his surrounding, and view everything from the outside so he could see what was going on, opposed to getting in the middle of something and then have to look all around you and try to figure out what's going on when you're already in the middle of it. So that's the kind of thought he puts into the situation. He got out, I think he was out for about 2 weeks when he sent me the first $100. And during that time there, he sent me a few $100 and going on. And one thing he gave his word, man, look at me, homie, when I get out, I'm gonna put something on your book. And I've been told that out of my 27 and a half years, I've been told that probably 80 times. And it's only happened twice. So, so I know, I wasn't really expecting no lot from him. I was just happy for him to go on. But the man kept his word on everything. And another thing about Mr. Kisack, as you know him, and the body snatcher, they alleged that he was going around, kidnapping people. They made the allegation that he was trying to snatch up a BG, but BG was ready for him and going on. No doubt BG was ready for him and going on, but from what he tell me, it never was his intent. People had put that out there for some reason, but it never was his intent to bring BG a move, that he know BG was a band going on. So somehow that story, and he actually told me this on the phone, that was the case, that he wasn't going at BG. And when OG Giggity was here and on my podcast, I mentioned that to OG Giggity, you know what I'm saying, because he had got the information, and he was happy to hear that going on, because like I said, it's some steppers down there, it's some good mans, and they all about their business and going on. Meatball, OG Blab, I mean, it's big bouncing, man. It's a plethora of them, but every state, every city got their steppers, and they got their men. But this is about Cat Kisack, the body snatcher, man. And right now, again, I say he down in Angola. He actually got a life sentence, and he got a life sentence over, really, I say some bull crap. 1, threatening the judge. 2, having a cell phone. So they hit him with if I'm right, they hit him with the habitual offender and everything. But based on what's happening, he's fighting the paperwork real hard, and he's on top of it. I'm looking forward for him to get out soon. Now, that's it, the story of the body snatcher, but I got some more stories for you. Hit that like button, subscribe, and hit that bell icon.